So I think it is 7:30, so I would like to welcome all of you who are on here already. I'm expecting that we probably get some more people in as we are in progress with our meeting. Just want to introduce myself first. I'm Clemens Reinke. I'm the head coach at the Bergen County Rowing Academy and the director of the Overpeck Summer Sprints Regatta. And I also have with me here Coach Myrna Gottrell. You will see her over here. And she is the assistant director for the regatta, and she will also take a portion of our meeting today over. And so I think we are both running the meeting. Myrna, I think I have you as the co-host, right? So you could accept.
Yes, you do.
You can admit new people while I'm speaking,
yes.
right? Yeah, great.
Yes.
Okay, good. So then I will focus on welcome you all to this Coaches and Coxswains meeting for the regatta. We are excited that we have this regatta and that we have had so much interest from all of you to participate. This is our largest regatta yet. We have 590 entries from 44 different organizations, which is really exciting, and we are looking forward to hosting this regatta. But it also means that we are on a very tight and long schedule on a day that is also anticipated to be a hot day. So I want to go through a number of things to make sure that that everything runs smoothly and that everyone comes home with a good experience. So let me just start going through some of the operations around the races and everything else. And Myrna will be talking about some of the issues that on land afterwards. So the first thing is that if you have not already sent that, forwarded that to your athletes, it would be great if you can sign the waiver. We are insured through a separate insurance, not through the U.S. rowing insurance. So if you signed the U.S. rowing waiver, that is not applicable for us. So there is a link on the website that that you can point to for all of your athletes so that they can sign those waivers. They can do it electronically online. They can also download it and sign it and bring it with them, but that's of course more of an old method, right? It would be easier for them to just simply sign it electronically online. Let me also the schedule itself. We are using Here Now. I don't think that Here Now has actually put the heat sheets up yet. That is anticipated to happen very, very soon. But you do have the schedule already that I sent out yesterday with the race times. I know that there were some requests maybe for some people that have to look whether we can accommodate those. That will happen tomorrow. But basically the schedule that I sent out yesterday in the email that's what you can look for in terms of the times. Which particular heat your athlete will be in, we will hopefully know by tomorrow when we have been able to publish the heat sheets. I just want to walk you through. I want to share my screen for a moment with you about the race course. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, here we have the map of the race course. Can everyone see that? I hope you can see this right now, right? So down here in Lot A, that's where most of the trailers will be. Coach Myrna will be talking a little bit about the traffic situation, but let me just assume that the majority of you will be launching your boats here from Lot A. There will be a few of you launching from Lot B and from the dock where the Bergen County Rowing Academy is located. But again, the majority of you will be launching here from the Leonia South side, from this particular dock right here, which is right at the finish line of the course. There are also a few teams that are actually starting from all the way the other end of Overpeck Lake, from the side of the New York Rowing Association. We hope that they will be able to follow the schedule and launch their boats in time so that they're not missing at the start lines. Here in Lot A, let me go back to Lot A. That's where we will have announcements made. We will have someone making sure that to call each race and to have you come up as your races are called. Because we have so many boats and a rather small dock, we want to make sure that we do not get a traffic jam on the dock. As again, this dock is also there for launching and for retrieval. We will be using, if you're looking out onto the dock, we will be using the left side of the dock for launching most of the times and the right side of the dock for retrieval. So when you are right here on the right side, you will go and follow that yellow arrow up towards the start. Once you return from a race, you follow that red arrow and you go to the to the dock for retrieval. Of course, launching and retrieving singles and doubles will be easier than eights. We would like to ask you that you work on the dock as quickly as possible because we are running races on a 5-minute center. And with that said, we need to make sure that we get boats onto the water efficiently, that they can make it up to the start in time, and that we have all the boats that are needed for a particular race available at the start at the correct time. If there are any hot seats necessary, I would like to, I'm zooming this in here for a moment, a little bit. You see those two different docks. If you're launching from here, but you have a hot seat, we would like you to bring your athletes over to this side here, to the Bergen County Rowing Academy side, and complete your hot seat on this side here, simply because that dock will most likely be less busy, and it will relieve the other dock from a hot seating situation. So bring the new athletes over to the Bergen County Rowing Academy side and complete the hot seat of your boat on that side. And then you can follow again the yellow arrow going up to the start. Now, let me walk you through a little bit. Oh, actually, one other thing important too. Please make sure that all of your athletes or all of your boats that you launched have the correct bow number on. It will be very difficult for the finish line to identify boats without bow numbers. And so we would like to ask for your cooperation and to make sure that that bow numbers are affixed to the bows and that we can properly associate the times to your boat. I think there's nothing more disappointing when you look at the results and it looks like the results are reflecting something different than what your perception was on the water. And we want to make sure that we don't have those mistakes. So let me walk you through for a moment what happens once a boat launches. Every racer, whether it's a masters, novice racer, or under 15 racer who is using the 1,000-meter course, or whether you are a open rower or junior rower who is going towards the 2,000-meter course, everybody will be coming up on this side here on the Leonia side of Overpeck Lake, next to the race course to go up to the start. Right here is a row of yellow buoys that demarcates where the race course begins. It is very important that boats that are launching from here make a really sharp turn and come close to the shoreline here, as to not ending up into the race course right where the races might be coming up for a final sprint. Make sure that you're staying between the shore and the yellow buoy line that is set up here to avoid running into the race course. Then you will continue, of course, up the course, up to where you're coming towards the 1,000-meter start. If you are in a 1,000-meter race, then and there's no other 2,000-meter race coming down, then you can use this area here on top of the 1,000-meter start as your warm-up area. You can row clockwise here. Our traffic patterns are all clockwise, not counterclockwise. So your warm-up also will be clockwise in this area here until your race is called and you can come into your starting berth. As you can see, the 1,000-meter course features an 8-lane course. There are buoys set up that mark each one of the gates so that you can clearly identify which one is your lane, and so that you can race down into the course. If you are in a 2,000-meter race, then you can come up to this place. You should encounter a marshal here that will hold you back as long as if there is a race coming down the course. Once the course is cleared and the race has cleared this area, you are then permitted to pass this point and to even potentially go into lane 1 of the race course to pass this point just around the 500-meter mark here. There's also a shallow point, which is clearly marked. So I do not anticipate anybody running into the shallow point, because you would literally have to run through some buoys to make it to the shallow point. But you might be able to use lane 1 for just a moment to pass that point and then come back in. So we'd like to make sure that you pass that very quickly. Do not linger around in that area so that you can make around the point and come right back out of the course so that the next race is not being obstructed when it starts. Then you have a wider area here again where you can practice, where you can warm up. You can use that whole area above the start for your warm-ups. We would like to ask you that you will not cross under the Route 46 bridge. The Route 46 bridge is our limit. We should not have boats going further up. There should be enough space here in this area for you to be able to warm up. On the western shore here, on the Ridgefield Park side of the lake, it is shallow here. We would like to make sure that you let your crews know not to get into that area here. It is also marked with a big barrel that warns, where it says no boats in that area. And there are also some yellow buoys set up that mark which area is shallow so that you do not run into that and lose your fin before the race. But I want you to be aware of that you do not disregard the buoys that are set up there to keep boats out of the shallow area. You then come, once the marshal is calling you, you can come into the start line here. We are having every intention to set up stake boats at the start line in the 2,000-meter race course. We have 4 lanes on the 2,000-meter race course and have 4 stake boats in this place. We ask that each crew will quickly back into their stake boats so that we can start the races on time and have a fair race. So when you then race down, of course, you're in your lanes, you're racing down the course, you're coming to the finish line. And again, after through the finish line, you turn and you go to the proper dock to retrieve. Here's a little warning for those who are doing a 1,000-meter race and are assigned lane 7 or 8. It's not a big problem for singles or smaller boats, but for a larger boat, for an 8 or even a quad, these lanes are pretty close to the shore. So once you are through the finish line, you will have to make sure to hold water as to not continue to run right into the shoreline there. But that only affects lanes 7 and 8. The further you are down in the lanes, the less that is an issue to watch out for. What we also like to ask is, now I'm going back to the dock here, and in terms of spectators, since the dock will be really busy, we really cannot accommodate any spectators on the dock. I understand that it is quite compelling to stand right here at the edge of the outer edge of the dock to watch the races come through, because the finish line is actually quite easily visible from that end of the dock. But if you did that, you would really obstruct any boats coming in and out. And so we asked you that you do not stand on the finish line on the dock there to watch the races. What we recommend, if you want to watch races, because actually if you're further down here, you have a hard time looking around this point here, which is another reason why people like to stand at the edge of that dock there. But again, you cannot do that without obstructing any and retrieval. So we would like to ask you to come over either to the lot B side. There's a kayak dock right here. You can be at the kayak dock. You can see the races coming right towards you when you're at this kayak dock. You might be in this whole picnic area where you can watch the races as well. But just make sure you stay away from the launching docks. That is also true of the Bergen County Rowing Academy dock, which is also used for launching and retrieval. We would like to ask that visitors or spectators will stay out of that particular area, as it might obstruct otherwise the launching and retrieval procedure. Just a few more things about the racing itself. Medals. Every flight is its own race. So every winner of each flight will receive a medal. We only have medals for winning boats. We do not have silver or gold, silver or bronze medals, as that would be requiring, having heats and then finals. In that case, we could have that, but we don't have the heats or finals or qualifying races. So each flight is on its own, and each winner in each flight will receive a medal. Now, in Masters races, of course, the winner may not be the one who crosses the line first, right? The winner is the one according to the best time after the age handicap has been applied. So you may need to then wait for the results posted in Here Now at herenow.com to see if you're crossing the first over the finish line will also give you the win to the race, or whether maybe another team that has a higher handicap has beaten you on time. That's pretty much everything about the racing. One other thing I do want to mention also about the weather for a moment. Luckily, I think the hottest days are supposed to have been today and tomorrow. Hopefully, it's going to be a little cooler on Saturday, but cooler still means pretty hot. So please make sure that your athletes hydrate enough, have enough water to drink, that you have that you stay out of the sun when you're not racing, and that you cool down enough after each of the races. Now, hot days like that, of course, can sadly also bring thunderstorms with them. We are hoping that we will not have any kind of weather delays on the day. But if there has to be a weather delay due to a approaching thunderstorm, in that case, since we are already on a very, very tight schedule, we will probably have to cancel a race or two. The races that we might first drop off the schedule are the ones at the very end. Our 500-meter dash courses are the ones that we will most likely scrap first before we have to take any other measures. I'm crossing my fingers that we can get all of our races in, and that we do not have any kind of weather delays. But obviously, safety always comes first, and we cannot row, obviously, in the lightning or electrical storm. In that case, we need to make sure that we evacuate the water and get into safety. I believe that covers everything for the operations on the water. I would like to hand over to Coach Myrna for the parking and on-land operations. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to share that either in the chat, or you might also ask them after Coach Myrna has finished her presentation. Then we can open it up for some questions and answers. And yeah, Myrna, would you want to take it over?
Sure. All right. Hello, everyone. All right. So you want to stop sharing?
Yeah, I'm stop sharing and put the other map up.
So just some logistics about parking and where everyone can park. Obviously, it's a public park that we do have to share space with, and there are certain conditions that we have to adhere to from park rules. As you enter the park, there will be a roundabout, and the park has two separate sides, right? So when you come to that light right there on Fort Lee Road, you can either make a left into the park or a right into the park. All of the public spectator parking, denoted here as P1, P2, and P3. P1 is P1 is where I don't think this is correct, Clemens, but anyway. So at the light, you will make a right for parking 1, or make a left for parking 2. The other parking is at the top of the hill, right? So trailers and coaches, you're going to come into the roundabout and you're going to take the second exit at the roundabout going towards the equestrian center. That parking is only for trailers and coaches and tow vehicles. As you get to that entrance, there will be a marshal there. They will have a list of all the participating clubs. You are allowed 1 parking pass or 2 with including the tow vehicle. So when your tow vehicle comes in with your trailer, they will receive a parking pass. They will then be able to go ahead and park their trailer. You are allowed to keep your tow vehicle at your trailer. As a matter of fact, we would prefer if you kept the towing vehicle with the trailer, because there is limited parking on that side, okay? You are also allowed 1 other vehicle to park in that area, okay? So your tow vehicle will count as 1 parking pass. Your second coach's vehicle will count as your second parking pass. Okay, and we will be keeping track of that. There is a form, we have to write your name in. You will receive a pass that you will put in your window, in your windshield, and you're allowed to park in that area. No one else is allowed to park in that area. No spectators are allowed to park in that area, and they will not be allowed in. Periodically, once we get all the trailers in and all the coaches parking in, please display your parking pass, because the county police will be going through and checking for those parking passes. Drop-off area for the athletes will be the first exit on that circle as you come in. So you will come in at the light, you will make that first right, there will be a drop-off area there for the athletes. We need to make those drop-offs as quickly as possible. In other words, we can't have people unloading a lot of baggage that needs to be transported to the trailer at that spot, right? Because it is a 2-way street. And again, it's the county park. We're not allowed to shut off that, block off that road. So the drop off is a quick drop off. Your athletes grab their bag, grab whatever they need, and walk. It's a short walk to where the trailers are parked. But that's for drop off of athletes only. The only other thing that we're using that drop off for is during the course of the day. If you order food or delivery or something like that, you'll have to meet them at that drop off spot to pick up your delivery. They will not be allowed to come into the parking lot. Okay, so once once you've dropped off your spectators at the drop off, you will then be allowed to continue up that road over the two double bridges to the very top parking lot, which is parking 3. Okay. You will pass 2 other lots that will be closed off. Okay. Lot B will be for small trailers and car tops. So trailers that do not have quads or 8s on them will be allowed to park in lot B. Okay, which is the lot that's closest to the Bergen County Rowing Academy's boat pen. Okay, those are the only boats and parking that will be allowed in that area. Okay, then you will continue on up the road. You will come to another parking lot, and that's where all the that's lot C, where all the chuck wagons are allowed to park. That lot will be reserved for chuck wagons. And in that area is also where you will be allowed to pitch your tents, your comfort tents. There's the lookout area there. It's on top of a hill. You can see most of the race course from that area. So that's where we would like our spectators to watch the races from, so that they're not crowding the launching and docking areas. You are allowed to have grills and generators there in that area, as long as there are no coal burning stoves or anything like that, right? And the generators have to be away from the tents. Okay, but that's a lovely viewing area there. And you know, it's like on top of the hill, so you can look down on the water and see the races going by. You actually get to see a good portion of the race from there. All right, continuing up that road, you'll come to eventually you'll come to a very large open parking lot. That's extra parking. That's parking for the whole park, not just for our regatta. You can also find parking there. Okay. Going back down to the circle, if you make a left at that light, going away from the circle there, there's also parking on that side of the park. That is a first come, first served basis. Again, it's an open park, so you know there will be other people parking there. So my suggestion to you is to come as early as you can to get a close enough spot. But again, it's not a lot of walking to get over to the trailers or to get to the viewing areas. I think that's it. Is there anything else, Clemens, that You're muted.
I think we need to talk about the team tents. So if you know, you talked a little bit about it, the ones that are being set up on the West Bank. Just to say that if you are planning to set up a team tent, if you can register that would be great. Again, it is on our website. There you can click and register. You can also do that on the Regatta Central site, right on the first page. There's a link to register your team tent if you're planning to set that up.
Yeah. So you know, in view of the light of the weather and all that, you are allowed to set up a small tent by your trailer so you can have shade and be out of the heat and the sun. It's going to be really hot. So yes, you can set up a tent by your trailer, but your team tent, your comfort tent, if you're going to do any kind of grilling or barbecuing or anything like that, that will have to be on the West Bank in lot C, by lot C. If you're only doing like sandwiches or, you know, fruit or something like that, then you're more than welcome to have it, you know, at the tent by the trailer. But the spectator tents will have to be by lot C.
Yeah, I think
and I think that's about it for land logistics and parking.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe what we can do then is to open up for questions. Let me see, there's one chat here. In the chat, it says, I have two questions from Stephanie. We are hot seating at 5:45 p.m. and 6:20 races and are rowing from Naira. Can we bring the second boat down in the morning on Saturday, or should we do it tomorrow? We are masters and we'll pass this 2K start. Okay, that's so the first answer. So I understand that you're probably thinking to have one boat stored on the at the finish line. I think that would be fine, but I think it would be better to do that tomorrow if you need to do that, because it's going to be really busy all day long on the water, and to bring down a boat during that time will probably be more difficult than if you have a chance to bring it over to the Bergen County Rowing Academy tomorrow. You can store that on our trailer, which is right next to the boat pen. Then you have it more quickly available. Would you agree, Myrna?
Yes, I think that's the best plan, is to just bring it tomorrow. We'll store it there, and then you can launch from the BCRA dock.
Right, right.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then Stephanie, your second question, let me see. We are masters and we'll pass the 2K start. Since we will be coming the opposite way, would you prefer we stay in the practice area or go down the course when there is no races? So yeah, so as long as there's still races going on at the 2000 meter start, just stay in that area above, you know, you can go through the bridge first, of course, because you're coming from that other area, but then you have that warm-up area between the bridge and the start to 2000 meter start, right? And then once the last race is off from the 2000 meter start, then you can follow that race down towards the 1K start and should be able to stay there. Does that help you?
Oh, yep, that makes sense. I just wasn't sure, since I know it, you guys touched on it a little bit. I just want to make sure we weren't like in the way bringing boats down, since we're a little unique of a situation. So that works out great. I'll relay that to our coaches, our additional coaches that aren't here right now.
Okay, that sounds good.
Fantastic. Thank you. And how will I be able to find your trailer when we're bringing? It's actually an 8 that will be hot seating at the 6:20. So how will I be able to find that, or should I go somewhere in the morning?
Yeah, would you bring it down? You would probably bring it down with a trailer, right?
So we are actually rowing down from NYRA.
Oh, you would be rowing
grabbing
down,
yeah. So I don't know if you want us to dock somewhere on Friday, or there's somewhere in particular, maybe give you a call.
What time do you think you'll be there?
I'd have to confirm that with our coach, but I'm assuming maybe the latter part of the day, maybe around 4, 5:30, something of that time frame.
We'll be there during that time.
Yeah, you can just row it down. We'll be there.
Yeah, you
Okay,
just
all
row
right,
down.
great. Is there a number or email?
Just row down the course, right? And then dock at this dock here. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
You just dock at the Bergen County Rowing Academy dock, and then our trailer is right from there. You can then easily put up the boat on the trailer, and we'll be in that area too. So if you need to call, you can use the number that's on the Regatta Central page.
Okay,
that's my number, and you'll get me. You can text me or whatever you want to do with that.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you so much.
I would actually say you text me, because my phone is usually set on not answering phone calls that are not in my address book.
Yep, that would definitely be me. We're coming from upstate New York, so I'll give you a text. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah.
A little bit in that vein, is anyone else planning on bringing boats in on Friday? Bringing trailers in on Friday?
Yes, I think the Nariot is coming in around 8:30 in the evening, right?
Yeah, if you could just
I'll have one. I'll also have one. It's Joe Sullivan with White Marsh, and also bringing Philadelphia City Rowing.
Do you know what time you anticipate to be there, or?
Probably, hopefully by noon or so.
Okay. Okay. I mean, we're going to be basically around there. It would be great if you can maybe shoot me a text message or so. Sure. I want to make sure that when trailers are coming in early, that we are parking in a way that doesn't block up too much space, right? That we are
Right.
efficiently parking all the trailers from all the teams, right? So just let us know when you come, and then we'll make sure that you get into a good spot,
Okay.
right? So yeah, so Ridgewood is bringing a trailer on Friday around noon. Okay, good. So both White Marsh and Ridgewood would be there. Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. Yeah.
Okay.
And Zach, we are not totally sure yet on the lightweight. We have a discussion on that still.
So Zach, we're planning on shutting down by 8:30. So if you can get here earlier than 8:30 p.m., that would be great.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Do we have any other questions still? Yep.
I know you mentioned something about the schedule in the beginning, and I didn't really look at too closely this morning. And then right before practice, when the kids brought up, the girls' 8 was moved. And it's going to be tight hot seating kids from 8s and quads, but now it's going to be really almost impossible because you moved the girls' 8s ahead of the boys' 8s. I don't know if there's anything, or if I'm going to have to dispatch a couple quads.
It's really difficult to try to make adjustments now because, you know, as you know, whatever I adjust now is going to affect somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
And then it's kind of like a domino effect, right?
When I saw, look, basing off last year's schedule, I figured it's going to be tight, but I
Right.
think it's doable because
Yeah.
there's a couple more races would fall in between as well from
Right.
the entries that were coming in.
Is there,
And
I
then
mean, I
you
can
moved,
take
the
a
girls' 8s got moved.
look if there are several heats. I can make sure that your boats are coming into flight 1 on one race and then last flight on the other race. That might give you some extra time.
All right.
Right. I'll send me a text message about that so that when the heat sheets are coming out, that I can make sure those things are accounted for.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, let me see. I'm confused by the answer to the weigh-ins. Yeah, it is because we are still discussing that. So the question was, I mean, of course, we were planning to do weigh-ins. The discussion point is, on the one hand, the question is, you know, doing a hot day, that people should stay hydrated and should not sweat out weight in order to make weight. On the other hand, of course, you also have the argument that people should be natural lightweights that don't have to deprive themselves of water in a hot day, you know, that because otherwise they would theoretically not be lightweights, right? So we are still having that discussion, and we'll communicate that, what we will end up on which side we will be coming out on with the lightweight situation. If we do have lightweight weigh-ins, most likely we will have that. Most likely we'll have it in lot A, although I'm kind of talking a little bit without having discussed that. But it seems to me that the scale should be where the most athletes are. It's probably in lot A. Does that answer, Paula, your questions? Okay, great. Yes, you bring your own bow numbers. I understand that those of you who are ending up in the lane 8, you probably may not have an 8, right? But maybe you can kind of finagle a number, like maybe put another round on a 6 or something like that, or close the bows on a 3. You know, that might make an 8. So maybe that you can do with tape or something like that to create an 8. Yeah, you can make one of pizza box. I don't know how easily that is visible. But yeah, There are a good number of people that are ending up in the lane 8, so if you can finagle that somehow, that would be wonderful. Any other questions? Yeah, I mean, as long, again, if it's on the pizza box and it's visible enough for the finish line people and it's not going to fall off, then yeah, anything that's visible enough is good that can identify the boat, right? Make sure you eat the pizza first. All right. Any other questions? Now I know what I'm having for lunch. Okay, good. Yes. Excellent. Well, if there are no other questions, feel free to text with any other questions that you have or email me with any other questions. I will try to get back to you. I will also be busy tomorrow around the lake and everything else, so I may not be able to immediately get back to you, but I will make sure to get back to you before the racing starts. And yeah, I wish you all safe travels to come up to Overpeck, and let's cross our fingers that the weather will be holding up and will be with us, and that everyone will have a good time racing on Saturday.
All
Then
right, good luck, everybody.
Yeah,
Happy travels.
yes. I wish you all well. Thank you so much for logging in today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye-bye. Okay, there we are.
Still recording, I think.
Okay, yeah.